What is happening, everybody? All right, so another installment of Dyno Chat. What I'm bringing to you guys today is my 392 Hemi versus a Coyote with an entry-level Procharged system on it. Let's talk about the specs on that Coyote. It's not necessarily stock, but it's not far from it. So it's got long tube headers and a Boss intake. But aside from that, basically just a run-of-the-mill Coyote. Little bit of massaging, but not too much. And the fun thing about this comparison is, a lot of times when people are talking about the Coyote versus the LS insert, 1 or LS3, LT1, whatever combinations, is always, well, the Coyotes don't make much torque down low. Well, if you're comparing it to a 392, not so much. I mean, if you are buying a Coyote, you're not buying it because you're looking for torque. You're looking for that top end rush, and nothing complements that more than a centrifugal type supercharger. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Now, talking about that tune a little bit on the Mustang, this was not a max effort tune by any stretch of the imagination. It does not have upgraded oil pump gears, so we didn't really want to spin it too hard. Obviously, it wants to keep making power, but again, it's a stock bottom end. And this particular customer, they basically drive this thing, play with it a little bit here and there. But the idea is to have a tune that will accommodate variances in fuel quality and have a car that's going to be reliable long term. So that's what we did. Typically, that type of a combination with oil pump gears, you're looking for, another 500 or 600 RPM on the big end and, easily another 20 or 30 horsepower. So just keep that in the back of your mind while we're discussing the driving experience between the two cars. Now, obviously with the 392, you get the added benefit of a ton of torque down low. And that's what makes that car so nice to drive. You just tip into the throttle and there's all this torque to just push you along. You're not going to get that experience with the Mustang, even with the 373 gear set that this car was equipped with. However, once revs start building, it is all over but the crying. So take a look at that torque curve on the 392. You're looking at somewhere around 4,200 RPM for the peak, but that Mustang is going to drag out to about 5,500. That boost just pushes that torque way high in that RPM range. And that's evidence through the driving experience. Then the Mustang really isn't a whole lot to write home about under partial throttle, but spool it up a little bit and then tap into the throttle, and it is a completely different ball game with that power rushing in on the top end. Makes for a very unique driving experience, and in fact, it is the polar opposite of the driving experience of a 392, where you have a ton of throttle response, a ton of tip-in torque, but as you can see, the power is going to start to flatten out a little bit up top. Supercharged Mustang has no issues with that whatsoever, and it will keep pulling until you hit that rev limiter. So it's always fun to compare these different types of combinations. Here's a good one for you guys. I know that there was always that debate back and forth, which one is better. Listen, to me, they're like two different flavors of ice cream. I could go for either one. I love driving my car with the immediate throttle response, lots of tip-in torque, makes for a real fun car to just play around with. But that torque, obviously, lighting the tires up is absolutely no problem whatsoever. Lots of fun from a dig. But, man, there's something to be said for a car that can absolutely rip on the top end. And while you may become intoxicated by the torque, you will be buzzed from that top end horsepower rush of that Mustang. I love them both. I wouldn't want to have to choose between the two, but I will say this. You could literally have one of each in your garage and have a completely different driving experience. God, I love these things. At any rate, post up your comments below. And that's a wrap on this one. Y'all have a great one. Adios.